Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our women's advanced Bible study for tonight. It's 1st of July 2021. We're going to be connecting dots for Israelite women. Okay, like, share, subscribe, and asking everybody to hit the notification button. Okay, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Shalom, and welcome everyone. We're going to do our moment of silence, prayer and songs, then do the current events, and then we just go from there. The moment of silence is for our Creator, Yahweh, and His Lord of Hosts, and all that they are doing to bring about our regathering and bring our culture back. So with that being said, we're going to do a little prayer and then go into songs and current events. But Lord, we thank you for your great mercy, your great power and wisdom. We tarry waiting for your powerful deliverance of your people, Israel. The Lord, you have given us insight into the scriptures of our forefathers. You, O Lord, have directed us to who you are in your role, in the goings on of heaven and earth. We come today doubtless that you will appear to, and that you will gather your nation from among these wicked Gentiles. O Lord, you spoke to your prophet Isaiah and through the prophet Ezekiel that you would help us, Abraham's seed, that you would, whom you have scattered. You have completed that promise as of this day. And you said, O Lord, that you would remove the darkness from us. Tarry not, O Lord, for the latter days are here, and we are waiting and watching for you. Peace be on you. Okay. Get to the songs right quick. Okay, I'm doing Psalms 149. It says, praise ye the Lord. It's the Lord's taking pleasure in his people. Praise ye the Lord. Sing unto the Lord a new song, and his praise in the congregation of the saints. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise his name and dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and the harp. For the Lord taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon the beds. Let the high praises of God be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with feathers of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor of all his saints. Praise ye the Lord. Okay. So we're gonna shine light on something. I was telling you about, our culture is centered around judgment. Us doing judgment. So it says in Psalms 149, verse 7 says, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with feathers of iron, right? That's what they done to us. So 9 says to execute upon them the judgment written. So that's what I keep reading. Remind you of it's written. And it says, this honor have all saints. Praise ye the Lord. So what are you talking about? This honor is for all saints. It's in Daniel. Daniel chapter. Let me see. Daniel chapter 7. It's the interpretation that Gabriel gave Daniel. We'll start reading at verse 15. Daniel 7 and 15. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the vision of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by, asked him the truth of all this. So he told me, and made me know the interpretation of these things. These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even and forever. That's what Ezekiel 37 all about. Like I said, the saints is somebody that was dead and came back to life. So it tells you right here, the saints. So he said it is written in Psalms 149, as it is written. This way it's written is right here. Verse 18, Daniel 7 and 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even and forever. And that 7 and 18, Daniel's alluding to the dry bones in Ezekiel 37. Okay. So with that being said, you got any current events? Anybody have any current events? Nope. Okay. Somebody got something?
Now, I was just going to say that, I hear people talking about, well, I heard this one lady, she's the DJ on the radio station, uh, that, talking about, oh, he guilty. Well, I kind of feel like this. People walk around for years talking about O.J. Simpson was guilty, but I saw a videotape, and it wasn't O.J. It was his son. But and that was a long time ago. So people need to be careful about, not that it would make a difference one way or the other, realistically, but people, passing judgment on somebody and saying that somebody did something. I'm not saying that he did not. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that sometimes there's more to it than what is presented to us. In other words, there's some behind the scenes things. And if you've seen the video that I saw about O.J. Simpson's son, you could clearly put the parts of the puzzle where they belong. OJ ain't gonna tell about his son because we don't know what that lady did to his son to make him do that to her. So we need to
Right.
be careful about passing judgment on somebody.
Right. You right. You right. Okay. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with that too because I was just watching something. They were saying that Felicia was shot because she was excited that he was released, and she was saying it was about time. And so then she's taking a position at Howard University, and so they kind of made her kind of retract that statement a bit, saying that she wasn't being sensitive, I guess, to the possible victims. But knowing this country and just knowing all the white women that have said things about black men and then they end up dead and then later they recant what they said, I mean, you got to give that person until he's proven guilty um, the benefit of the doubt more so than, that's just my opinion, than to label him worrying about, something that hasn't been proven. So I don't know. I
Right.
just,
But the system they have in place, he's already dead meat. They didn't discredit him. They not already, no matter what they do now, just like with OJ, whether OJ did it or not, they already didn't denigrated him. So that's the purpose of this system that they have in place now is to you can come back and they can come back with all the evidence they want. They already plastered all these pictures of him all
yeah,
over the place in that so you can't get that out of people's mind. That's
yeah,
like they see you. You can see white folks at work or whatever. They one way, but you see them out somewhere at night, maybe 10 o'clock at a gas station. They come in a whole different type of way at you because this personification they got of black folks. So that's already there. Right. So based on what you said, I'm gonna go and do this right here. Okay. It says right here that Alicia Rashad support of Bill Crosby highlights divisions in the black community. Uh, so it says it's bringing about a division in the black community. It says in the case of 83-year-old actor who's acted dozens of women, uh, the majority of them white over several years who alleged sexual misconduct by Cosby dating back decades. Cosby has consistently denied the allegations, which is why when his longtime friend and co-star Felicia Rashad celebrated the overturning of his verdict against Cosby on Wednesday, it set off a debate involving race. Uh, this miscongeniality, whatever it is, in the Me Too movement. Okay, that's a white movement. We're back well before Cosby was convicted and sentenced in 2018 uh, to 3 to 10 years in the state prison for drug and sexual assault Andrea Constant at his home in 2004. There was much debate over his guilt and innocence, but nowhere more so than in the black community where Cosby had meant so much as both an entertainer and an advocate for education. America's favorite dad, The Cosby Show was groundbreaking television running from 1984 to 1982 on NBC, and the sitcom depicted an upper middle class black family devoid of the usual stereotypes often assigned to black characters in Hollywood. Cosby portrayed Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable and ascertained, I don't know what that is, and a patriarch of 5 children, and Michelle played the matriarch attorney, Clara Huxtable. So anyway, so he's saying that because of their long time friendship through this sitcom, uh, she said she don't believe he done it, so she sided with him. And it's, stemming from what you said earlier, um, she got this job uh, as some kind of instructor or something at Howard, and from my understanding of it, it's probably in jeopardy now, based on what her coming out and saying what she said about Bill Crosby defending him. So here we go. It's the other part two to it. Okay. I think this. Oh my bad. Yeah, it says Felicia Rashad clarified tweet celebrating Bill Crosby prison release uh, after backlash. After Felicia Rashad ignited a social media firestorm with a tweet celebrating Bill Crosby release from prison, the former Cosby Show star and incoming university dean is attempting to defuse the situation. Wednesday morning, when news broke that Cosby was being released from prison following a ruling by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court that overturned his conviction, Rashad, the incoming dean of Howard University College of Fine Arts, tweeted, "Finally, a terrible wrong is being righted. A miscarriage of justice is corrected." Rashad comments, which followed social media users could not directly apply to, were met with immediate backlash, with many pointing out that Wednesday's ruling didn't exonerate Cosby or aggravated indecent assault. A number of other tweets out of various versions of the by Felicia. I don't know what that was, but let me get it. It says a callback to the 90s reference by Felicia from the movie Friday, while still others called out Rashad's initial tweet and tagged Howard University. That's why I was saying that, because now they're putting Howard University in. So I'm thinking, for Howard University to get out of it, they're gonna recant what they're doing with her. Say about 3 hours after her first tweet, And following the cause of the actual release, Rashad seemed to respond to the critics in a new post. I fully support survivors of sexual assault coming forward, she tweeted. My post was in no way intended to be indecent to be insensitive to their truth. Personally, I know from friends and family that such abuse has lifelong residual effects. My heartfelt wishes is for healing. So she, like you said, she tried to spin it, but it's already damage already been done. Okay. Any comments?
Yeah, I think people are going above and be well. I guess they doing what they feel so it's necessary to do. I don't think what she said was such profound to the point and extent where she needs to resign or be terminated from her position. That I read the one with the one lady talking about she wouldn't send her daughters to Howard. Well, how would she? We know she would send her daughters to Howard in the first place. So, I mean,
Right,
and then I kind of felt like, yeah, how do we even know that the person that wrote that, not that the color of their skin matters, because women's rights do matter, but I mean, to me, it just seemed like something that other people would do, and not and trying to represent like they're, you know, Hebrews.
yeah. Well, that's the going thing now. That's why the lady that she had a comment, the one that was on the Fresh Prince with the mother, the mother for that played as Will Smith mother, a stepmother, whatever. But
Uh huh.
she tweeted that Felicia Rashad should have known better. She should have thought about everything before she said anything,
Mm.
knowing how these people are today.
Yeah.
And I think she's right.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah. So, anybody else have any comments on that?
Well, they're uh, this same radio station woman was talking about how the team of people was so quick, talking about Cosby's team of people was so quick to step to the microphone and say something. Because one guy said he got a unwanted vacation or undesired or unexpected or some anyway vacation. I don't necessarily consider no prison stench a vacation. I mean, but yeah. So with that, and I I know there's freedom of speech, but sometimes you need to step back perhaps and just wait and see, you know, where the what the end's gonna be, or what's being said about the situation. Um,
Right,
so yeah.
I don't think that Felicia Rashad needs the job at Howard. I think because she's an actress and I think she's in the theater and the arts department, so whoever's going to send their child may not even see Felicia Rashad. But if she does have to resign or she's not there, she wasn't doing that because she needed to be at Howard. She just
right,
went to Howard as an undergrad student, and so she just came back. But
right,
it's not gonna really hurt her, I don't think, if she's not at Howard. But Howard may feel some pressure too, you know.
right,
I hope they don't get rid of her, but
right. And then you're dealing with the boule,
Okay, there we go.
so that's what they're all about. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Dr. Moonby had something to say about that. Let's see what she had to say. Okay. Oh, let's see what it's at. Hmm. Let me put it on here. Okay. Let me go ahead and deal with this right here. This is where the white supremacy guy, killed the black.
So there was a white supremacist by the name of Nathan Allen, 28 years old. He went on a rampage and ended up killing a brother and a sister. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
He left about 2 o'clock. That was the last time I saw him. As a heartbroken community begins to process what investigators are now calling a hate crime, anger is setting in. To be murdered for their race in this area is unconscionable, and it's outrageous. And unimaginable grief is taking hold. He was a great guy. My hat goes out. I mean, he was just a stand-up guy. What a great guy. Retired State Trooper David Green spent nearly 4 decades in law enforcement. The 58-year-old died in a shootout in this Winthrop Alley Saturday, just feet from his home. I think Dave kept people alive by heroically dying. Investigators say it all started when Nathan Allen stole this plumbing truck and crashed it into an empty building near Shirley and Cross Streets. Police say Allen then got out of the stolen box truck and shot and killed 60-year-old Air Force veteran Ramona Cooper, who happened to be standing nearby. They say he shot and killed Green after some kind of brief confrontation down the road. He lived his own life, made the ultimate sacrifice for others. Nick Teotis knew Green for more than 50 years. He says Green was trying to warn others about the shooter when he died. I lost a best friend. Great guy. Everybody loves him.
As all of you know, yesterday, 2 innocent people lost their lives in the safe neighborhoods of Winthrop. We know for a fact that Ramona Cooper, 60 years old, a veteran, staff sergeant in our Air Force, who was still involved with the military, was killed yesterday. She was shot 3 times in the back. We know that retired Massachusetts State Trooper David L. Green, who honorably served our Commonwealth for 36 years in law enforcement, was executed yesterday, shot 4 times in the head and 3 in the torso. And we know that the shooter was a 28-year-old named Nathan Allen. We have found in this very preliminary stage of this investigation, and law enforcement has been working round the clock together. Boston Police, Chelsea Police, Revere Police, Transit Police, and NEMLEC, the Northeast Massachusetts Law Enforcement Council, all came to help Winthrop here. That there are some troubling white supremacist rhetoric that was found in the hard police work that they did. In this individual, Nathan Allen's own handwriting, writing anti-Semitic and racist statements against Black individuals. We are in the preliminary stage. We will continue to work on this. And although these 2 people lost their lives yesterday and the threat has been terminated, this individual, Nathan Allen, will not hurt anyone else. These families deserve answers, and we will find out what happened here. I want to make sure that I do state that law enforcement stood in formation for retired Trooper David Green, right where he laid after he was killed, and that law enforcement, firefighters, and first responders in Boston also lined the streets of Albany Street when the medical examiner drove Trooper Green's body back there. So this is a sad day. These 2 people protected our rights. They fought for us to be safe and to have the opinions that we have, and they were executed yesterday. And we will find out why and find out more.
Okay. Anybody got any comments?
So personally, I just looked up the definition of execution and murder, because when it comes to things like this, wording is everything. And the way that they get it, snooze cameras, what they say, I don't let nothing get past me. And executed is a plan out. It's something that was planned out. You didn't say that these people were murdered, which means that this was unlawfully or with premeditation. Execution is something that is planned. And y'all want to plan it like, oh, it's just a white supremacist or something like that. No, I believe that a lot of these murders are planned out and thought out, and these people are sought after. Yeah, how convenient that y'all would kill an Air Force veteran. How convenient would y'all kill a person that worked for y'all police force for 36 years, and he was shot 3 times in the head and 1 time in the chest. Who back that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
For real, somebody that's just a random person ready to go out and kill somebody. Come on now, your adrenaline is pumping. You don't know where you're shooting at for real. But somebody that's a trained assassin, trained to kill, like a CIA member or something like that, of course you would have direct shots. We don't know what type of information these people had, what they was about to bring out, or anything like that. So to
Right.
me, um, a murder like this put on the forefront is like they are trying to incite something, and it's just ridiculous to me.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, like I said, they're trying to bring us out in the streets to get one little incident at a time. They're trying to provoke us. Yeah. So, anybody familiar with the King Alpha plan on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't, just go Google it, King Alpha plan, and watch it. Well, I'm gonna bring this up. Give me a minute. I'm gonna bring this up, Dr. Mumby.
Also, the tribe that's impersonating us, they've been on the news saying that they have been getting jacked up. People have been threatening them. Have you guys seen that? The 13th tribe?
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're saying that they're getting a lot of hate crimes.
Who getting that?
The one that's over in Israel,
Okay.
and that's over here in America.
Okay. No, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
I can't find it. Yeah, I can't find it. So what I'll play is
Try looking it up under the Rex 84 plan.
no, I wasn't looking for King Alpha plan. I was trying to find. Let me do this right quick. Oh, here you go.
Hello and welcome, beloved, to another episode
Can you see
of
that?
Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki.
Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been getting a lot of questions in the mail about what are my thoughts on the whole Bill Cosby situation. And you know what, beloveds, welcome to the greatest distraction of 2021, when our people should be busy stocking up on food, reinforcing their doors with security, getting woke, awakening their minds, relocating to a safe location. So there's so many things we should be doing right now. Staying awake and alert at all the different laws that are being passed as people are distracted by these big time stories that mean absolutely nothing. And that's what this Bill Cosby thing is. I haven't even gone too deep into it. I highly recommend. There are some people who, if I was interested, I would watch, like Vicky Dillard, if I wanted to know what the breakdown was. Someone sent me the breakdown by Red Pill. There's so many African American brothers and sisters who have really given a concise reason. Why has he been released right now? What is it about? But bottom line, beloveds, is that love him or hate him, Cosby was boule. And he was part of, he had to sign that deal with the devil, and he was part of the black actors, that kept a lot of our people,
That's what so many people keep forgetting. Like she said, the boule.
in the Babylon system. And he tried to become too, whatever the reason is. Some say he was trying to become too powerful. I think he tried to buy some news station or something. And he whatever he did, they wanted to make an example of him and punish him. But it's all in this, that's all secret society stuff. Even why he's been released, that's all secret society. You know, they do have humiliation rituals, although this would be an epically huge humiliation ritual. But there's so many things. It doesn't affect you whether he's released or not. What should affect you is the way that Babylon is continuously investing so much in controlling the image of the Black man. And definitely follow my brother Riza Islam on Instagram. They've been trying to get rid of him, but he's there, brother Riza Islam. I think that's the latest one. And he was talking about how, they're constantly coming for the image of the Black man and trying to make him seem, one thing or another. You definitely watch what he said on that. But that's what I feel. Even with the killing of the Black Panther, and the Black Panther, it was taken from their vision of a secret city that's here in Mount Zion on the center of the world. And a lot of their rituals were actually real rituals that our people use. And so do you think it's a coincidence that all of a sudden the main actor that they had so many of our young people worshiping like a god, the African, finally Africa has a superhero, all that stuff, that they would kill him? Allegedly. Because cancer is never really cancer, beloveds, but some people ain't ready for that one. So don't get caught up in the Bill Cosby distraction, beloveds. Really don't. It's so tempting to comment and everything. And then I was seeing some people saying, they freed Bill Cosby, but they didn't free Britney Spears. And then others were saying, it's just, don't you see? It's the circus. They're getting the circus ready again. So that, they're getting this is real life drama because they've saturated so many of our brothers and sisters' minds with TV shows, movies, and the movies and everything get wilder and wilder and wilder. But now this is a real life one. So again, they're hooking you in. And all of this is what is keeping Babylon from falling. And it keeps giving the wolves so much power. Whether you're angry or not angry, or you think this or you think that, it doesn't matter. He's an actor in a film. Now it's real life. Now it's reality TV. Who knows what they did inside to him?
Yeah, I want to say something on that right quick. Yeah, so same thing she's saying right there. I keep on reiterating that on the New Testament and what's written in red. Especially our African Americans, they get bent out of a shape on what's written in red in the New Testament. But like I said before, like she's saying, they just wrote that. They had Constantine was trying to bring the Roman Empire back. He needed a God. And he needed a religion to bring the what Daniel already told us. The beast was going to receive a womb in the head. Them just words. And they ready to kill people behind it.
Who knows what happens, beloved? But not our circus, not our monkeys. Seriously, that's how we've got to become. Babylon is over. Where they're trying to distract you from the fact that inflation is coming, that fuel prices are going to rocket, that, there's a problem with the food supply across the divided states. That's what they're trying to distract people from. They're trying to distract people from the fact that Babylon is falling. As Babylon tries to reinforce itself and reinforce its foundation just to save it for a little bit longer. They're trying to keep everyone in this, oh my God, this happened, that happened. When behind the scenes, kill shots are being given, beloveds, to our loved ones. So what do I think about Bill Cosby? I wish I didn't have to think about it. It's a massive distraction. Don't focus on him. You need that energy for yourself. Mm. And at your level, there's only so much energy you have access to. That's why I say work on yourself, elevate yourself, so you have access to more energy to do more stuff. Create an exit plan. Make sure even where you're living, you're growing your own food, or every day you're getting, every time you go to the supermarket, you're getting a bit of extra food. Like, they're not showing the empty stores and many of the things that are happening, beloveds. So dig deep to know what the reality of what's going on. And sometimes it's easier to dig deep here, and then it will be revealed to you in your physical world. Bill Cosby is the distraction of 2021, beloveds. Don't get caught up. It's really none of your business, whether he's free or not. He's not the one who's going to secure your family's future. He's not the one who's going to protect your family when the zombie apocalypse comes through. You're going to have to do that. So get about doing that.
Okay, comments?
I agree with everything she's saying. I appreciate you, Brother Leonard, for bringing up the whole boule. I didn't want to say nothing about it because that's the first thing I thought, about, they sign deals and this is basically what they got to go through. I try my best to distance myself from all of this. I stopped listening to almost all worldly music, deleted it all out of my phone and everything, because they are distracting us. There is a food shortage. The farmers are being told to destroy their crops right now and do GMOs. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't know how to farm. A lot of people don't have knowledge about herbs and things like that. So while they're out here trying to destroy our community and pretend that everything is all good, when there's prophecy that's being fulfilled, and she's right, we should not be worried about Bill Cosby or Felicia. We should be doing exactly what we're doing right now, being concerned with getting to know the Lord of hosts and his works and his ways so that we can be a part of the remnant. We're not trying to get out the book of remembrance. The fact that we even know about a book of remembrance is a blessing, because most people don't even know anything about that at all. So it's a whole inspiration. People rather be distracted. They have completely blurred the lines between reality and fiction, real life and fiction. They make everything about a movie. That's how these people work and operate in Hollywood. And it's actually disgusting. And to me, with them trying to get us to fight, they know that we're not, the Lord of hosts ain't really dealing with us right now. So I think it's kind of cowardly to try to call us out while they know facts that when we with the Lord of hosts, he fight for us and nations be destroyed. So it's kind of falling to try to get us out there to go and fight in the streets, knowing that our God is not even rocking with us right now. But y'all don't want that smoke when we in order,
Right. Yeah, it's like that's true, because I mean they that's all about, like I said, you see me keep going back over and over stuff because I'm trying to cement it when you can get it in your head. So when you go to First Maccabees, what you just said, they found out that no matter what Israel doing, they've been commanded that they have to keep Shabbat. So they killed a bunch of us. What I'm telling you about, when Epiphanies came, is when we left. And so they was killing a bunch of us because they wouldn't fight them on the Sabbath. They found out that the Israelites had these culture, and they had, it was a day that they worshiped their God, and they couldn't, it was things they couldn't do on that day. And they found out, and they started killing them. They was killing a bunch of them because they was using our own religion and our own culture against us. And they doing the same thing right now today. But we don't have no understanding on that. That's why I was saying right here, this guy right here, I just stumbled upon this. I keep on showing you this book, but yeah. Right here. Esau and Edom, it's just like $21. Yeah, so the very thing I've been screaming about is right there. So yeah. You correct. Anybody else? Okay, so what we're gonna do is just go into a little Q&A, comments or whatever, and then we go into like I said, I had a question, and I'm gonna pose that question after we finish with our little Q&A session. Anybody got anything they wanted to question? They wanted to put on the table? We talk about it, or?
Yes. I have about 4 or 5 questions.
Okay.
Okay. First one is men of valor. I see that throughout the script. Could you tell me what the meaning of that is? Men
Well,
of valor.
well, that's righteous, being righteous. He's David is perfect example. He's dealing with the Creator. He's dealing with Lord of Hosts, with heaven, but he's a warrior, and everything he's doing is according to the Most High law, statutes, and judgments. So that's what a man of valor is.
Okay.
So
Okay.
for example, he went wrong. I don't know if you know about the story, but we know now it was giants around him, especially those 33, where David was pinned down by the Philistines, and he wanted some of that water from the spring that was in Jerusalem. So he voiced his opinion out loud, and Abishai, Benaiah, and another and his brother Joab broke through the ranks, fought their way all the way to Jerusalem, and got him some water. And he came back, and even David, when he got back, David poured the water out. So that's what I mean by, a man of valor. That wasn't the right thing. He used those guys because they might and they power, but the Most High put them there for his protection. But when he realized how many people had got killed just for them to fight their way to get the water, he pulled it out. Okay, so what you saying?
Okay. Judges 13 and 18.
Okay, let me get it. Okay, 13 and 18.
Okay. How come the angel doesn't want to, the Lord of Hosts doesn't want to give his name?
13, where is it? 13 to 18. Let me read it. It says, and the angel of the Lord said unto him, why askest thou after my name, seeing it is secret? So Manoah took a kid with a meat offering and offered it up upon the rock unto the Lord. And the angel did wondrously, and Manoah and his wife looked on. For it came to pass when the flame went up toward heaven from off the altar, that the angel of the Lord ascended in the flame of the altar, and Manoah and his wife looked on it and fell on their faces to the ground. And the angel of the Lord did no more appear to Manoah and his wife. Then Manoah knew that he was an angel of the Lord. Okay, so his name tells you everything about it. That's why he's saying the secret. So another example of that is go to 32, Genesis. Let's see if I got that right. Yeah, 32 of Genesis, verse 24. It says, let me know when you get it.
32:24.
Yeah, the Genesis.
Okay.
Jacob was left alone there. I'm sure I'm identifying you who it is. So it says, Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, what is thy name? Right? And he said, Jacob. And he said, thy name shall be called no more. See, it's about the name means something. They know that. We don't know that. We throw it on this. So it says, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, for as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed. And Jacob asked him and said, tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, wherefore is it that thou ask after my name? Same thing. And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life was preserved. And as he passed over, yeah, so we see right here that we know it was the Lord of hosts. He wrestled with right here. So that was the Lord of hosts, angel of the Lord over there, the Lord of hosts, Michael. And we know now what his name means. He who is like Yahweh. So it's two things going on. It's which I believe is Esau, trick of Esau. He don't want you to know who his name is because he's gonna denigrate the fact that what they did over in the New Testament.
Right. Okay.
Because if he telling anybody here his name Michael, that changed the whole story.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Judges 18.
Okay.
Micah's graven image.
Genesis chapter 18.
Judges 18.
What verse?
Hold on, let's see. I guess you can start at verse let's see, 18, start at 10.
Okay. And when ye go, ye shall come unto a people secure into a large land, for God hath given it into your hand, a place where there is no want of anything that is in the earth. And there went from thence the family of the Danites out of Zoar and out of Estal 600 men appointed with weapons of war. And they went up and pitched at Kiriath in Judah, wherefore they call that place Manadum unto this day. Behold, it is behind Kiriath, I can't say that word. And they passed thence unto Mount Ephraim and came into the house of Micah. Then answered the 5 men that went to spy out the country of Laish, and said unto their brethren, do ye know that there is in these houses an ephod and a teraphim and a graven image and a molten image? Now therefore consider what ye have to do. And they turned thitherward and came to the house of the young man, the Levite, even unto the house of Micah, and saluted him. And the 600 men appointed with their weapons of war, which were of the children of Dan, stood by the entering of the gate. And the 5 men that went to spy out the land went up and came in thither and took the graven image and the ephod and the teraphim and the molten image. And the priest stood in the entering of the gate with the 600 men that were appointed with weapons of war. And these went into Michael's house and fetched the carved image and the ephod and the teraphim and the molten image. Then said the priest unto them, What do ye? And they said unto him, Hold thy peace, lay thine hand upon the mouth, and go with us, and be to us a father and a priest. It is better for thee to be a priest unto the house of one man, or that thou be a priest unto the tribe and family of Israel. And the priest's heart was glad, and he took the ephod and the teraphim and the graven image and went in the midst of the people. And they turned and departed and put the little ones and the cattle and carried before them. And when they were a good ways from the house of Micah, the men that were in the house near Micah's house were gathered together and overtook the children of Dan. And they cried unto the children of Dan, and they turned their faces and said unto Micah, What aileth thee that thou comest with such a company? And he said, Ye have taken away my gods, which I have made, and the priests, and you are gone away. And what have I more? And what is this that ye say unto me? What aileth thee? And the children of Dan said unto him, Let not thy voice be heard among us, lest anger fellows run upon thee, and thou lose thy life, the lives of thy household. Okay. So what's the question?
So Micah, he made a graven image, correct?
I mean, I'm thinking it's just the same Micah that's the book of Micah, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Because if
saying.
you read verse 31, so I was just trying to figure out, so because I didn't think Micah is Micah Israelite?
Yeah, he's Israelite. He's a priest. He's a Levite.
Oh, because okay, I thought they were saying that there was someone else, a Levite came.
No, it
Okay,
says,
so Micah is the priest.
yeah, it says in verse 15, and it turned thitherward and came to the house of the young man, the Levite, even unto the house of Micah. Micah the Levite.
Okay, so that's why he had a graven image. That's
Right.
why, so the Levites made the graven images.
Well, I think what it is the people in the land had a graven image, and Micah had concealed it, and he brought those 500 men so they can get rid of it. That's why it says in verse 18, and see, Micah thought that he was gonna come, they was gonna kill him. But it says in 17, and the 5 men that went to spy out the land went up and came thither and took the graven image and the ephod and the teraphim and the molten image and the priest. That's the priest is Micah. And the priest stood in the entering of the gate with the 600 men that were appointed with weapons of war. So they come to, I told you they have judgments on them they have to perform. That's what they're not allowing us to do today. We got judgments. So they had these graven images, and Micah then got them, and he wants to get rid of them, but he wasn't going to be able to get rid of them by himself. He had to bring these other men with him to back him up. So it says, and these went into Micah's house, fetched the carved images. See that Micah had them, and the ephod and the teraphim and the molten image. Then said the priest unto them, what do ye? And they said unto him, hold thy peace. See, Micah thought they was going to try to kill him too. So he says, hold thy peace, lay thy hand upon thy mouth, and go with us, and be to us a father and a priest. So do your role, do what you're supposed to do as a priest. And
Okay.
and is it better for thee to be a priest under the house of one man, or thou be a priest of the tribe of the family of Israel, which is these are Danites. All these people here are Danites from Dan. And the priest's heart was glad. So we see that they ain't gonna kill him. And he took the ephod and the teraphim and the graven image, and he went in the midst of the people. They turned, departed, and put the little ones and the cattle and the cartridge before them. And when they were good ways from the house of Micah, the men that were in the houses near Micah's house, see these other people, these heathen, overtook the children of Dan, and they cried unto the children of Dan, and they turned their faces and said unto Micah, what aileth thee that ye cometh with such a company? So Micah had a problem with these images they had. So he called them to come help him, get rid of them, pass judgment. And he said, ye have taken these people, these heathens said, you have taken away my gods, that's the images, which I made, and the priests, and ye have gone away, and what have I more? And what is this that thou say unto me? What aileth me? And the children of Dan said unto him, let not thy voice be heard. See this? He said, let not your voice be heard, because we finna pass judgment, right? Lest angry fellows, that's the Danites, run upon thee, and thou lose thy life with the lives of thy household. So they come to kill all of them. So my point is, the thing I was only shining light on is, do anybody know what a teraphim, an ephod and a teraphim is?
The research that I found, I believe it was Terraform. The priests would ask questions and they would get answers from the Most High.
Right. So what's going on is the high priest got those 12 stones on his chest, and I was telling him, we was talking about, we might have been on the men's line, but we was talking about once a year, the high priest, which is out of Aaron's lineage, Lord Host got a covenant with Aaron, there's always going to be a priest in over the temple. Out of Aaron's lineage is always going to be a king, a son out of over Israel out of David's lineage. And them two, once a year, have to go into the temple and atone, a day of atonement, atone for Israel's sin. So the high priest got this breastplate on with those 12 stones on it. Each one of those stones represents a tribe. If it's sin in any one of those camps or any one of those tribes, when he go before the Lord of hosts in front of him, and he's come down between those two cherubims, and any one of those stones light up, then he knows it's something going on in that tribe. But so he got these two stones. He put his garment on first. Before he put his garment on, he has this thing called an ephod. It's like an undergarment, and it's got two pockets on the chest, and the two stones go in there. That's these teraphim. They go in there, and the breastplate is sitting on top of those two stones. So it's some kind of chemistry going on, whatever. But it's same way with the ark. But anyway, so let me get this.
Wow, that's
Right,
amazing.
Right. So when he go in there, if it's seen in the camp, those things gonna light up.
Wow.
So that's what I was saying right here. When you go to Zechariah, and this is what I mean by it's a whole nother story. You get, once you get to this point right here, you got to throw the New Testament and you got to throw it in the trash can. You can't keep fumbling with it because it ain't got nothing to do with nothing. So Zechariah chapter 4. And like I was saying before, he talking to us. That's the purpose of he had all these books were written down. Even the book of Enoch, they say, it's no reference or relevance to the book of Enoch when you read the stuff, he's talking to you. They wrote it down back then, but he's talking to us. So,
right.
So I'm in chapter 4 of Zechariah. We're gonna follow the same format I'm talking about. So he says, verse 1, and 2021, I'm reading it. So it says, and the angel that talked with me came again and waked me as a man that is awakened out of his sleep. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I said, I have looked, and behold, a candlestick, all of gold, with a bowl upon the top of it, and 7 lamps thereon, 7 pipes to the 7 lamps, which are upon the top thereof. That's the menorah. So if he's talking about the menorah, he inside the Holy of Holies. He in the Holy of Holies. So 3, and the 2 olive trees by it, one upon the right side of the bowl, and the other upon the left side of the bowl. That's the 2 anointed ones. That's the one from Aaron's lineage and David's lineage. They're going to the Holy of Holies once a year. So right here, when you read that, you already see that's where they at. That's what he's discussing. So he says, so I answered and spake to the angel that talked with me, saying, what are these, my Lord? So see, he's talking to us. We got to find out what he's talking about. 5, then the angel that talked with me answered and said unto me, knowest thou not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, this is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel, saying, not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, said the Lord of hosts. Who art thou, O great mountain, before Zerubbabel? Thou shalt become a plain, and shalt bring forth the headstone with shouting, grace unto grace. He's talking about, he's telling Zechariah that Zerubbabel going to rebuild the temple that Nebuchadnezzar tore down. Anyway, he goes verse 11. Then he says, then I answered, because Zechariah ain't got it all together yet. So he asked again in verse 11. Then answered I and said unto him, what are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick and upon the left side? And I answered again and I said unto him, what be these 2 olive branches which through the two golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves? And he answered me and said, know thou not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. Then it's the angel talking. Then said he, these are the 2 anointed ones right here that stand before the Lord of the whole earth. So that's Aaron's lineage seed and David's seed in the Holy of Holies, and the Lord of the whole earth, not Yahweh. So that's Michael that comes down in the Holy of Holies over the mercy seat, and the 2 anointed ones in there. That's on the Day of Atonement. So right there in itself, so you go to the New Testament. So what the other one at? It's 2 anointed ones. So now all of a sudden it's just JC. So what the other one at? So there we go again. He's that in a place. He's the Lord of hosts. He's Yahweh, you know, and then he's the Messiah. And so now we see right here, they didn't. He two and one. He one. He's taking the place of two. And we know the Most High don't change. He got a king and a high priest.
Right.
So we see how they flip this all around. Okay. That make any sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Who are the Kenites?
Kenites are okay. I don't know if you know about the story or whatever, but it's a woman involved in the garden. It's a woman involved. The serpent slept with Eve, got Cain. Well, the story of Noah, when he got out the boat, Japhet slept with Noah's wife. It's a woman involved in the story, and got Canaan. Just like Israel, Jacob's name is Israel. All Israelites came from Jacob. His name is Canaan. All Canaanites came from this boy right here. Let's look at it. They're a cursed race of people. That's what we found with. So I'm in Genesis. Let me get it. Okay. Here we go again. We find these other pages. And fell out. Okay. Okay. I'm in Genesis chapter 9, verse 20. It says, and Noah begat this after the flood. They come out, the water receded, and then they came out. And Noah began to be a husbandman and planted a vineyard. He drank the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. Right? So Noah's nakedness in Leviticus tell you a man's nakedness is his wife. So it says he was uncovered. So it's a woman involved. It says 22. And Ham, the father of Canaan, see that? Saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers without. So then Shem and Japheth took a garment. See this? This is how we know what's going on. But like I was saying, these Most High told us these people was ignorant. So it says Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon their shoulders and went backwards. They doing that because there's a woman laying there. Japheth and raped her. And they walking backwards to cover up. They ain't covering Noah up. Noah's nakedness is his wife. So then it says, and he went backwards, covered the nakedness of his father. That's his wife, right? And their faces went backwards, and they saw not their father's naked, saw not their mother, or saw not Noah's wife laying there on the ground. And then it says, and Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. He done raped his wife. And then 25, and he said, cursed be Canaan. See, Canaan ain't get on the boat. Before the flood came, Canaan ain't get on the boat. So where Canaan come from? Japheth raped Noah's wife. He got Canaan. That's who the Canaanites is. See that? That is firm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So there ain't no other Canaanites. That's what I'm saying. Right. It's Canaan. See how that's spelled?
So that's why the Canaanites, they had to, when I was reading, they had to end up serving the other Israelite tribes.
Right. That's why later on, if you go right here, go to Genesis chapter 15. We was in 9 right there. Go to Genesis 15, and I'll show you what's going on. This prophecy being fulfilled. Yeah, Genesis 15 and verse 18. Okay, so now Abraham on the scene. And the Lord got a covenant with Abraham. It says, in the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land from the river of Egypt until the great river, the river Euphrates. So what land? Well, when you go to Joshua, you find out Noah divided the land up between those boys that was there, and he gave the land that it wasn't called the land of Canaan. He gave that land to Shem. but Canaan was on his way to the land he gave him in Mesopotamia, and he saw that land and took it.
Right. Thief.
And so he displaced. That's how Abraham and Terah and all them ended up in Mesopotamia, because Canaan stole his land. So it's the land of Canaan. So I'm in verse 15, 18. In the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, saying, "Unto thy seed have I given this land," the land of Canaan, which is originally Shem's land, from the river Egypt unto the great river Euphrates. But here go to these are all Canaanites, all these nations, they're Canaanites. But he just told them, he gave them the land and everything that's on the land. So he gave them all these giants.
So so that's what I was asking. So these guys, the Kenites and the Kiznites and the Kedomites, Hivites, Perizzites, all of those are giants.
And they Canaanites, yeah.
Okay, see that's what I'm. Okay, yeah.
Right. And they subject to Abraham and Abraham's descendants. That's why David got 33 of them with him.
Right.
Isaac had some with him, and Abraham had them with him.
What about Joshua? Did he have some?
Well, that's what I was saying. I was showing you in that book of Og that what the Lord did when he gave Abraham that land, and then he made that covenant with Abraham. He had to circumcise all the males, so he brought a division between the giants. Now you got a race, you got a group of giants that's circumcised, and you got a group that ain't circumcised. Joshua killing all the ones that ain't circumcised, like Og and all them different giants. Joshua killing all them, but it's some that the Most High then brought into, they got a covenant with him because Abraham had them circumcised.
Okay, so that's why the Lord told us to be strong and courageous, because they was going up against giants.
They were going up against giants, right? And so he said, they saw it with giants in Egypt. We know now with giants, he went through Egypt like a hot knife on butter. But they don't feel like what he did in Egypt, he can't do it in the land of Canaan. So they turned on him.
Because when I went back and I started reading from when Moses went to go get Lot and started seeing mighty men and seeing these giants coming out, it was like a whole different story. It was so good. And I see now, I would love to tell my grandkids about this, because this is going to hold their attention to know that our ancestors was going up against straight up giants.
Right, exactly. Right. And that was the whole purpose with him giving them the giants. They needed the giants to combat the giants they was fighting.
Right.
And so Most High put a spirit on the ones when they got circumcised, he put a spirit on them.
Right. Okay, so my last question.
Right.
Abimelech.
Okay.
Okay, now I was looking up who's who in the Bible, and they were saying that was a royal title for a Philistine ruler. For example, like a pharaoh.
Right, exactly. And he's a giant.
He's a giant.
Yeah, he's a giant.
Okay, see, that's what I wanted to know.
Right.
Okay, wow. Okay.
Right. So once, like I say, once you understand that, then everything start coming and rushing in. So he the one made Abraham rich when he took Sarah. So go back. I told you it ain't but one way to get a mighty man, right? It's an angelic being got to sleep with a woman, right?
Right.
Well, what Lucifer is, what the serpent was he an angelic being?
Right. Yes.
So what that make Cain?
Wow.
And then what you say? What you talking about? What did Cain do? Killed his brother. He's stronger than him. You know what I'm saying? He's stronger than him. He killed his brother.
Wow.
So they're oppressive. They're oppressive, and they ain't right. So he killed his brother. That's how you know that he ain't Noah's son. And
Right.
then in Genesis chapter 4, verse 16, I didn't do it, but the Lord of hosts separated him. Let's look at it.
Where we going to Genesis
4, chapter 4, verse 16.
Okay.
It's Cain's descendants. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod, east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch and built a city, called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. And you keep on reading, that's Cain's lineage. But it's separated from Adam's lineage. So then you go to chapter 5. That's how you know he ain't under Noah's son. You in chapter 5?
Yes.
This be the book of the generation. This is the actual name of Genesis. This is the book of the generations of Adam. That's the name of the book. In the day that God created man, in the likeness God made him, male and female. I'm going to show you the division that it was a man and a woman made, then it was Adam was made. So Adam means mankind. So it says, this is the book of generations of Adam. So that's mankind. In the day when God created man, in the likeness God made him, male and female. He made a woman with this man. Created he them, blessed them, called their names Adam. See that? So you got a man called Israel, and you got a nation called Israel. You got a man called Adam, and you got a race of people called Adam. So right here, Adam, in the day when they were created. Then verse 3, and Adam, this is the man Adam. Verse 1 and 2 is the man in Genesis 1:26. Verse 3 says, and Adam, the man Adam, lived 130 years and begot a son in his likeness after his image and called his name Seth. See that? So Cain ain't in there. Cain, which is a mighty man because he came from the serpent, killed Adam, killed Abel. Because he ain't under Noah's son. I mean, he ain't under Adam's son. He killed Abel. Then Adam came back and knew Eve again and got Seth. Cain lineage is over here in Genesis 4, starting at verse 16. He separated him from Adam's lineage because he ain't under Adam's son. See that?
Right.
Verse 3 says that Adam, the man Adam. But verse 1 and 2, it's a man and a woman, mankind. That's what the word Adam means, right? Then verse 3 says that Adam, the man Adam, Hardon, the man Adam lived 130 years and begot a son in his likeness after his image and called his name Seth. Yeah, so.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else got anything? You too?
Shalom.
Okay.
Brother Leonard, I have a question.
Okay.
You have taught us about the rod and that the rod was the person in place over our ancestors, such as Moses.
Right.
And how we will have to pass under the rod, which will be King David.
Right.
Are the rebels mentioned in Ezekiel 20:38? Who are the rebels? Are those the ones that are still holding on to JC?
Right. And the ones that they, like I said, you got it says all Israel, when you understand all the mixing and the intermixing that can happen, all Israel ain't Israel. Because a lot of these people they gave to us, like during the transatlantic slave trade, we wasn't no power to sleep with no women. They were raping our women on the boat, so them ain't Israelites. But
okay.
Once they got to America and got off the slave ships, they put them with us. But they fathered them. They ain't Israelites. The lineages followed through the male. So all that's been going on all the way down to the day. So now he waking us up. All Israel ain't Israel. They gonna rebel. But the spirit that's in them when the time comes, they ain't trying to You got to look at it like this. They didn't have no God. Remember what he did with Cain. He told Cain, he sent Cain away from him. So Cain descendants all that time didn't have no God. They got idols. They creating idols, but we have the living God. So they ended up, when they stole the land, they stole our identity and our culture. Now they got our God with them. So let's look at that. Because like I said, we reading over it. So I'm in Isaiah 66 right quick. Like I say, it's all about once you get zeroed in on thinking like Hebrew, then all these words start sticking out when you start reading. So I'm in 66. Isaiah 66. In verse 5 says this is a future prophecy about us waking up. Verse 5 says, hear the word of the Lord, ye that tremble at his word. So everybody ain't trembling at his word. It's the ones with the seed. They tremble at his word. But anyway, you keep going. Your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake. See that? We reading over there. So when did they do this? They kicked us out. I told you when Antioch Epiphanies came. And they stole the land. They kicked us out because they wanted to, they knew the living God, the real God was there in Mount Zion and in that region. So they had us, when the opportunity presented itself, they came in and kicked us out. And we ended up on the west coast of Africa. So from that point on, all the way to 70 AD, they imposed, they built the temple and everything. Herod built the temple, an Edomite temple. None of that got nothing to do with us. We on the west coast. And then, so in 70 AD, they was kicked out. And that's where the drama is right there. And then nobody can't sort that out because they thinking those people that's over there now is the real Israelites. And then you got a lot of Israelites know they're not the real people, but they don't know that they was living in the land for a long time. That's the reason why they got such attachment to it. So let's look at that. And this is major because you don't understand it. You confound it. I'm in Malachi. Malachi. So, like I said, you read this and don't understand what I'm saying. You're not getting no justice. So, chapter 1 of Malachi, verse 1 says, "The burden of the word of the Lord by Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, said the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein have thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Said the Lord. Yet I loved Jacob." Right? I hated Esau, and I laid his mountains. See that? His mountains and his heritage to waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Wherefore, Edom said, we are impoverished. So when he ran them out, they had nothing. So they said, we impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. So my question is, what's the desolate places? It ain't but one desolate place, right? Hello?
Yes.
What's a desolate place in the Bible? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear desolate place?
Jerusalem.
Daniel, right? Look, let's go to it. Daniel. Daniel. Chapter 9. Chapter 9. Let me read. This the event right here that happened when we was kicked out of the land. So 26. After 62 weeks shall the Messiah be cut off. That was Rubel, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come, that's Antioch Epiphanes, shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end wars and desolation shall be determined. 27. And he, this Antioch Epiphanes, shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. This is the week they talk about in Revelations. Already happened. And it says, and in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifices, the oblations to cease, and from the overspreading of the abomination, he shall make it desolate. See that? They're going to desert place right there. So these people go back to Malachi. So verse 4, where Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will turn and build the desert places. That's Jerusalem. Desert places in the Middle East. So what happened in 1948? They came back. If you returned, then that means you was there before. So when was they there? They was there doing this concoction they got over here doing the New Testament. That's the people that was in the land. We was on the west coast of Africa. So he ran them out in 70 AD, and they went into Europe. That's where Paul went. He went over there where they was at. And then 1948, like they said right here, verse 4, in chapter 1, verse 4 of Malachi, whereas Edom, right, said, we are in Paradise where we will return, build the desert places. Then thus said the Lord of hosts, they shall build. They gonna come back, and we know they back, right? But I will throw down, and they shall be call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. So where's all this gonna happen at? Verse 5, your eyes shall see, and ye shall say, the Lord will be magnified from the borders of Israel. So that's Ezekiel 37. When he raised the army up and they come, wipe these people out that's over there, then he's gonna be magnified. But they didn't concoct, they got us all twisted up in the mind with the New Testament. You can't read that. But that's what he's telling you right there. How you gonna return somewhere you ain't never been there? You can't return if you wasn't there before. So they was there, they had stole the land, and they was living in the land, but they was wicked as hell, just like the Israelites. So he ran Israel out in 143. He ran them out in 70 AD. But they told him, we're going to come back. And that's all the history that we've been looking at. They've been giving us in school is the history of them. Like the World War I and II was for them to get the land and to get back over there like they said. And after World War II, here they come in 1948. They came right back and back like they told them right here. And they back in the lane. But the Most High said, you gonna come back, but I'm gonna shut it down. I'm gonna run you out there again. But this time it's gonna be for good.
I got it. Yeah.
Okay. And that's what the army in Ezekiel 37 about. So when they got you talking about this some kind of symbolism or metaphors, ain't no metaphors. He said, let me read it. In Ezekiel. Once you understand all this right here, and then you start reading it again, you know, it just registers. It says 12, Ezekiel 37 and 12. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, thus says the Lord God, behold, O my people, I will open up your graves. See that? It ain't nothing, you can't symbolize that. I will open up your graves, cause you to come out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. See, you're going to bring them there to run these people out. But they're going to be supernatural, they're going to be like the angels when they go back. It says, and ye shall know that I am the Lord when I have opened up your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves, and shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then shall you know that I, the Lord, have spoken it and performed it, says the Lord. So I told you about judgment. Here go to judgment. And we reading over this too. So here go to judgment right here. I'm in Joel. These the same people right here I just read about in Ezekiel 37. Joel chapter 2 say, blow a trumpet in Zion. That's the signal when the earth gonna shake. And the earth is shaking because she's giving up her children. That's in Zion. So it says, blow you the trumpet in Zion, sound the alarm in my holy mountain, and let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. See that? For the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people, a strong, they have not been ever the like, neither shall there be any more after it, even to the years of many generations, a fire, see that? Devour before them, and behind them a flame burneth, and the land is as a garden of Eden before them, behind them is the desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. This is the judgment on Esau. They over there now, perched, waiting on the Most High to do what he gonna do. They so greedy, the prophecy right here, but they so greedy, they sitting right there, right in the way of what he getting ready to do. They sitting over there. So he says, 4, the appearance of them is as appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. Like a noise of chariots on top of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame or fire that devours the stubble. I showed you what the stubble was. Esau the stubble. As a strong people set in battle array. Before their faces, people shall be much pain. All faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men. See that? They shall climb the walls like men of war, and they shall march everyone in his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk everyone in his path, and when they fall upon a sword, they shall not be, can't kill them, because they've been resurrected. Look what they're doing. Verse 9. They shall run to and fro in the city, looking for these Edomites. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run up upon the wall. They shall climb upon the houses. They shall enter in at the window like a thief. They're looking for these Edomites. Like the Most I just told you in Malachi. He said, you're going to come back, but I got something for you. And he's going to resurrect these our forefathers, and they come in to bring judgment. It's what they want to allow us to do for the last 2,500 years. We can do anything but pass judgment. But these Israelites right here, when they come back, they're going to pass judgment. And ain't nothing nobody can do about it. But then he gave us another narrative. Like I say, we talking about, the dry bones. They got about 500 sermons on that, but none of them tell you the truth. Okay. Question. It says Michael 40:1. Let me see what you're talking about. Does that make any sense?
Yes, I got it. Thanks.
Okay.
Right, because I was taught that we were the dry bones waking up, so that's not correct.
No. No. We ain't the dry bones. We part of it. That's what Malachi, the last verse in Malachi. That's the purpose of Elijah. Elijah was taken up because Elijah coming back. And when he come back, the Most High gonna raise up our fathers out of the graves, and Elijah gonna bring the fathers that he raised up back to the children, which is us. So,
Thank you.
Right. That's what he's doing. So, yeah. And like I say, that killed the whole ball game by itself right there, because Elijah ain't came. But they got you thinking John the Baptist was Elijah, but he ain't came. That's garbage.
Right.
All right. So let me see what this brother's talking about. It says, Micah 4:1. But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountains of the house of the Lord shall be established on the top of the mountain, that it shall be exalted above the hills, and the people shall flow unto it. And many nations shall come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord and the house of God of Jacob, and he shall teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths, and for the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Lord for Jerusalem. So let's look at it. Verse Micah 4:1. But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountains of the house of the Lord shall be established, right? So let's look at this. So how is it going to be established? Let's look at it. Go back to where I was at in Joel. How is it going to be established? Joel chapter 2, verse 1. Blow ye a trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain, and let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and strong that have not been able to light, neither shall be any more after it, even to the year of many generations. A fire devoured before them, and behind them a flame burneth, and the land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them them a desolate wilderness, and yea, nothing shall escape them. That's how it's gonna get established. That's what Micah talking about. So we keep going. In the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow unto it. Then it says, and many after they see this army and what they do, and many nations shall come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord and to the house of God of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and he will walk in his paths for the law. See that? The law shall go forth from Zion, and the word of the Lord from Zion. What are you talking about? Malachi, I just talked about, chapter 4. So, verse 1, chapter 4. I'm going to read it. It's ain't but 6 verses. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. That's his army, right? And the day that cometh shall burn them up, right? You just said that it's great people. Everything in front of them is like the Garden of Eden, but everything behind them is desolate, right? Said the Lord of hosts, that it shall lead them. See that? After they pass through, shall lead them neither root nor branch, right? So we're trying to get to the law part of it. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves in the stall, and ye shall tread down the wicked, and they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I do this, said the Lord of hosts. Remember ye the laws of Moses. There goes the law right there, going forth from Zion. Remember the law of Moses, my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel with the statutes and the judgment. Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he, see that? That's what his whole purpose is. He's going to bring back the laws of Moses. He out of the lineage of Aaron. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. So, give you one more precept. This is Zechariah, chapter 12, in case, it ain't registered. I'm in chapter 12. This is the future deliverance of Jerusalem. Zechariah 12 and 1. The burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, said the Lord, which stretcheth forth the heavens and layeth the foundation of the earth and formed the spirit of man within him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all people round about, when they shall be in the siege, both against Judah and against Jerusalem. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered against it. So what are you talking about? I gave you a prime example when Absalom was trying to kill David, and David had to flee across the Jordan. And Gashima came out throwing rocks at David. Absalom is one of the mighty men. So he been running with David all the time. Now he think he got a reason to say something. So he told David, what this clown doing? He throwing these rocks at you. Let me go over here and get with him. And David said, what you got to do with this? You ain't got nothing to do with this. This ain't got nothing to do with you. You got circumcised, but this ain't got nothing to do with you. So the Most High telling you right here in verse 12 and 3, and in that day I will make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people, right? All that burden themselves with it, all of them that stick their nose in and they got their business in it. See that? They're gonna come up missing. So he says, all that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered against it. Say, in that day, says the Lord, I will smite every horse with astonishment, and its rider with madness. I will open my eyes to the house of Judah, and I will smite every horse with the people with blindness, and the kings, see that, of Judah shall stay in their heart. They supposed to be dead, right? So they back alive. The inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength. The Lord of hosts, their God. In that day will I make the governors of Judah like a heat of fire. See that? He's going to resurrect them. They're going to be like him. So you go to verse 8. In that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as God, as the angel of the Lord before them. And we know the angel of the Lord lit on a bush and as a flame of fire. So you can't get around that. There's too many precepts. Okay. I hope that answered. Yeah. Okay. See what this brother's talking about. Anybody got anything? Right. So, okay. If you go back to I was showing you about the, like I said, they disrespect us because we lack the information. So I was showing you that these 33 giants that's around David, these men, we not reading it right, but these giants around David, right? So like I said, how are they disrespecting us? Well, go to the Transformers, the movie Transformers. See the regular little dude talking to these Transformers, it's the same thing, but that's what David was doing. But they're throwing it out in our face. So reason I'm saying that, so when you go to Tarsus, let's look at that. Let's look at it. I told you, Japhet is come from Cain. Cain's father is an angelic being. So what that make him? So I'm in Genesis chapter 10. And it says, let me get it. It says Genesis chapter 10, verse 5, verse 2. The sons of Japhet, Gomer, Magog, Midian, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, Tyrus, and the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Rephaim, Tamagog, and the sons of Javan, Elisha, Tarsus. They go Tarsus right there. See that? So you say Isaiah 23 and 10, pass through the land and the river, the daughters of Tarsus. I researched the empire called Tarsus, Genesis chapter 4, drowned in the mud floods. There are very little Tarsus, giants all over there. We know that because of just looking at history. That's the point. The point I'm making is in order. There's no way Israel can come up against these people. That's the reason the Most High gave Abraham all them giants. Him knowing the beginning from the end. He set him up before, ahead of time. He gave him a whole truckload of giants when he made the covenant with him. All them Canaanites right there with him had to be circumcised with him. And David had to use them. Isaac had to use them. They had to use them in order to clean the land out. Matter of fact, Moses had some with him. So, like I said, thinking like a Hebrew. So all of a sudden, you got giants in Egypt, giants in Mesopotamia, giants all over here, but ain't no giants in Tarsus. Come on. Yeah. Giants all over the place. It's giants in Moab. Giants in Ammon. Because we know that he tells in Deuteronomy chapter 2 that he gave the land that he gave to Moab with giants there before he got there. And Ammon, before they got there with giants there. But we know they didn't drive them out. They came in and intermingled with them. They killed some of them, but they intermingled with them. Just like Israel did. So giants all over the place. It's giants in Tarsus. Okay. Anybody else got anything?
Dukes.
Yeah.
Dukes. Would that be like the Brits?
Yeah, that's how you identify who they are. If it was Dukes way back then and it's Dukes now, that's who they are. That's Esau. I was telling you, I don't know what you know about the Saxons. You ever heard of the Saxons?
Yes.
Right. So Israel. That's why it's so important to understand when Israel left, when Judah left, and the Israelites left in 143 BC when Anti-Epiphanes came at the end of the third beast. They went on the west coast. Esau stole the land and started calling himself by name. So now you got two Israels. And that's where the drama coming in. That's where Esau using this information against us. So you got two Israel. So the fake Israel was living in the land up until 70 AD. They left and invaded Israel, invaded Europe. The Saxons. That's what the Saxons is. They went into Egypt. They went in all them areas over there and invaded them. And they got us thinking, when brothers started reading it, they talking about King James was in Spain. No, that's Israel, that's Esau posing as Israelites. Even to the day, they over in the land right now posing as Israelites. Ever since they stole the land back in 143 when Epiphanies came. So they done rolled the real Israelites out of the story. They all on the west coast of Africa, out of the picture. And they posing as Israelites all the way to now. So when they say Isaac's sons, the Saxons, the Anglo-Saxons, Isaac's sons, that's Israel. The fake Jews on the move. They got kicked out of Israel. That's where Paul going. British Israel. That's the fake Jews. They didn't intermingle with all. They didn't intermingle with Japhet. Right. And you're not gonna be able to decipher that unless you understand it. What happened? Yeah. And all you have to do is track them by his Most High asked the question. Let's look at it. Most High asked the question, and you got to ride with that question that he asked in Isaiah 63. Let's look at it. Isaiah 63. He says, "Who is this that cometh from Edom, right? With dyed garments from Bosra." That's the capital city. Capital city of Edom. This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speaketh righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red? That's all you gotta do. Just track the red. Like they tell you about the terrorists. You want to find out what's up with the terrorists, track the money. You want to know what's up with Esau? He gonna post that red up. That's all you see in the Roman Catholic Church. Red all over the place. That's all you see. Red. China. I told you, China the 10th beast. But he didn't intermingle with Esau. Esau running him. Esau behind all that. He got all the money.
Right.
You can post to these Chinese stuff, but red. He tell you right here. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine or in the wine fat. See that? So that's how you tracking. And you see, that's the number one thing they talk about with the Roman Empire when those legions came. They had those red capes on.
Right. We were looking at Jack the Giant Slayer,
Right.
and we were noticing too they were clothed in red.
Right. So you watched the whole thing?
Yeah.
Did you see how it ended?
Yeah.
The British crown.
The crown.
Yeah, the crown Jack had on. They telling you it ended up being the British crown.
Right.
Ain't that so?
Wow.
So that's what's going on right now. Queen Elizabeth, that throne she's sitting on, they saying that's David's throne because they was in the land at one time. They stole the land. That's what Yahweh, Lord Host, trying to tell you. But you can't see it because you're dealing with JC. So he says, they telling you that Queen Elizabeth is out of the lineage of David. And she's the throne she's sitting on under that throne is a rock. That's called a rock of destiny. That's the rock that David killed Goliath with. So they say. So what we watching is they getting ready to bring that throne back to Jerusalem. So, like I told you before, Queen Elizabeth dead old as dirt. So it ain't her. I showed you the red-headed boy with it's showing all over on all the murals all over the Denver airport. And they got them all in the Bank of America. This red-headed boy. It ain't but one person. That's why he all over the place right now. So, the daddy done passed away. It's a lot more. It's more gonna pass away. Because it's gonna be Harry. They got it posted up all over the place. If you just paying attention. That's what the objective is. They wanna rule the world from Jerusalem for 1,000 years. So you say, what you talking about? John. What does it mean? That's the English name. So who the person is that wrote Revelation? Cerinthius. Go Google that. Cerinthius. That's who John is. He the one came up with that 1,000-year garbage. Cerinthius. So C-E-R, C-E-R-E-N-T-U-S, I think it is. Cerinthius. He the one who wrote that. Like I was saying, all those, they all was in Penny the Elder, Penny the Younger, Josephus, all them was in Alexandria, Egypt, the Edomites. That's how we get the Septuagint.
Was he part of the Flavians?
Right. Wait, he was the one that tipped the Flavians off on how to deal with the Hebrew Bible.
Ah.
But Israelites over here that's waking up think he a Edomite, think he's a Judean. He ain't no Judean. He a Edomite. Just like when they got Paul saying that he's from the tribe of Benjamin, Hebrew of Hebrews. Yeah, you just stole. These folks just stole Israelite culture. But let me read it. Because it's right there in our face when we know it. So I'm in Obadiah. Let me get it. Obadiah. So he says right here. When Joshua and them came to the Jordan, Most High said, I told you about Shiloh. They went out, they came and set up at Shiloh. From there, that was their command center. From Shiloh, they went out and they divided the land into 12 lots. That's the nation of Israel. There's 12 lots. If they get 12 lots of land in Israel. So I'm in Obadiah. This during the time of Antioch Epiphanes. Let me see on there. Yeah. So I mean, verse 1. It's only one chapter. Verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee. Thou shalt be cut off forever. Talking to Esau for what he done. And so you have to ask the question, what did he do? In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, cast lots. See that? What lots? The 12 lots. Same 12 lots that Joshua and them divided up when it from Shiloh. Says, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem. Thou was one of them. So he stole the land by lots. He called himself by the same names, the same 12 names Israel got. So now you got 2 Israels. You got 2 Judahs, 2 Benjamins, 2 Levites. So, but like I say, you can easily break that down when you go back and look at where Paul went. We already know where they got us from, because from Deuteronomy 28 and 68, they got us from the west coast of Africa. Well, Paul all over there in Europe, because that's where the Edomites went in 70 AD when they was kicked out. And like I said, you can't fumble with that not when it's shown right to you. So this is a dead giveaway. They can't go back and rewrite the history now, because you already wrote it. And Paul all over in Europe. Ain't no Israelites over there. The Edomites. Then the thing about it is, what's so ironic about it, they showing you the map, the Mediterranean. They show you on the map. The Mediterranean is the 4 beasts all around the Mediterranean. So that's where these Edomites in league with the Romans, with Chechen. So when they kicked them out in 70 AD, they sent them all in them places where Israelites, Japhet is, because they in league with Japhet. And they sent Herod's lineage to Spain. That's who King James and all these people they're talking about. And Isabella, the one sent the 3 ships out by Columbus, trying to find somewhere to live because of curses on them. Ezekiel 35. Let me read that. And that's how they was able up until now to get by with this lie about them being Israel, because they got curses on them. So let's look at it. I'm in Ezekiel 35. Ezekiel 35 says, let me start at verse 1. It's 35. It says, prophecy against Mount Seir. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate, and I will lay thy cities to waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred. See that? And hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity. That's when Israel came to an end, Antioch Epiphanes. In the time that their iniquity had came to an end, right? Therefore, as I live, says the Lord, I will prepare thee blood. Blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with the slain of men. So, same, when you look at the curses, and you look at this, it's similar. Because the sword followed him. But we got curses on us. So they've been able to get away with it, like what happened with Hitler, when a bunch of them got killed. So people say, well, look at this. How they not the Israelites been, the curses on them? All of them got slaughtered. And then they got ran out of one country after another one over in Europe. Ever since they fled over there in 1780, they getting ran out of every country because they come there trying to hoodwink everybody with the usury, with the money, getting the money, and the people figure out what they're doing and run them out. That's why Isabella sent those 3 ships out, try to find some land they can go to and get these curses off of them. And they came to America. So they was here 13 colonies. And so when George Washington got it back in a bind, that's where he went to. These Jews, they got the money. And they the ones, that's how they got established here. Boston, Massachusetts, all up there where the 13 colonies at, the Edomites. That's why they all over the money. All these Jewish symbolism all over the money. That's these Edomite Jews. Right. So yeah. So like I said before, they was in the land of Israel at one time. That's what nobody seemed to know. These rabbis and the mega pastors and all these imams and everybody else, nobody knows that. But from 143 BC to 70 AD, them Edomites calling themselves Israelites by lot, by the 12 tribes, they call themselves Israelites. So from that point on, it's 2 Israels. There's a fake Israel and it's a real Israel. And you gotta know that in order to deal with these end times.
So we really are in the matrix. Yeah. Because it's like 2 of everything.
Right.
2 Noahs.
Right. Exactly.
And we have the red pill.
Right. Exactly. You can't even, like I said, I keep on reiterating it with Abishai. You've been running with David, but you ain't got anything to say. How you gonna hold a conversation when you don't understand this stuff? So be grateful that the Most High raised up somebody that do understand. But you trying to get into a dialogue or a conversation and come against something, and you don't even have no idea what's going on. Come on. And then you get offended or mad when it's shown to you. Like I said, I'm not talking about something and then I can't go show you in the scriptures where it's right there. You just ain't the scripture. What the scripture saying in your mind is 2 different places. You gotta line it up. That's what thinking like a Hebrew come in at. So let me show you. Let me give you an example for the people that might not know this. Okay, I'm gonna go to Nehemiah right quick. This is a simple example of what I mean by thinking like a Hebrew. Okay, I'm in Nehemiah. Nehemiah, right? I'm in chapter 2. So it says, it came to pass in the month of Nisan, in the 20th year of Ahaz, the king, that wine was before him. So this Nehemiah. We're dealing with Nehemiah. That wine was before him, and I took up the wine and gave it unto the king. Now, I had been before times sad in his presence. Wherefore the king said unto me, why is thy countenance sad, and seeing that thou art not sick? This is nothing else but sorrow of heart. Then was I very so afraid, and said unto the king, let the king live forever. Why should not my countenance be sad, when the city, the place of my father's sepulchres, see that? Graves. So when I see that, the first thing I think about is Ezekiel 37. See that? So he says, the place of my father's sepulchres, that's graves, lie waste, and the gates thereof are consumed. So he worried about the city and the graves. That's what Nehemiah worried about. Then the king said unto me, for what doest thou make a request? So I prayed to the God of heaven, and I said unto the king, if it please the king, and if thy servant have found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldest send me unto Judah, unto the city, see that? The city of my father's sepulchres. He worried about the graves. He worried about the bones. Come on. And I may build it. And the king said unto him, said unto me, the queen sitting by him, for how long shall thy journey be, and when wilt thou return? So it pleased the king, and he sent me and set me up, and I set him a time. So that's what he's worried about. So you have to line that up with one more situation. Verse chapter 1 of Nehemiah says, let me line it out first. So the Most High would always, we know they went into like 13, 14 different captivities. He would not send all of them into captivity. He'd always leave a remnant there. So thinking like a Hebrew, all they want to know, wherever they was in captivity at, they asked somebody, is there some Israelites in Jerusalem? And so it's all they want to know. If it's some Israelites in Jerusalem, they know the Lord of hosts haven't utterly thrown them off. So that's what it means when it says those that did escape. It's a remnant he left, because he ain't not all the way through with them yet. So I'm gonna read this Nehemiah. He in captivity in Babylon. It says, the words of Nehemiah, the son of Hilkiah, and it came to pass in the month of Chesim, in the 20th year, as I was in Shushan in the palace. So he in captivity in Babylon. Then Hananiah, look at this, Hananiah, one of my brethren, came, he and certain men of Judah. They came from Judah, right? So, and I asked them, see, that's all he want to know. I asked them concerning the Jews that did escape. That's Hebrew. That's Hebrew idiom. So he's saying, is it some Jews in Israel? Is it some there? That's all he want to know. He know that they're going to be going back if there's some Jews there. So he says, and I asked them concerning the Jews that had escaped, which were left, see that, of the captivity, and concerning Jerusalem. Then 3, and they said unto me, the remnant that are left of the captivity there in the province are in great affliction and reproach. And the wall, see that? So you apply that to Daniel 9:25. So ain't got nothing to do with JC. So, and the wall of Jerusalem also is broken down, and the gates thereof are burned. So now Nehemiah know they going back, because it's a remnant there. Even though they in affliction, it's a remnant there. Now, let's see how big this is. I just showed you in Obadiah. Now I'm back in Obadiah. See that? So Esau know this. You know what I'm saying? The average reader today don't know this, but Esau know this. So at the time of their calamity, look what the Most High says. I'm reading it again. Obadiah, starting at verse 10. For the violence against thy brother, Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that strangers carried away captive his forces. See that? So this when Epiphanies came. They want you to think that this is Babylon. But he says when strangers came carried away captive his forces, foreigners entered into his gates, cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was one of them. But thou should not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger, neither should thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. See that? Neither should thou have spoken proudly in the day of their distress. Thou should not have entered into the gates of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou should not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. So here we go, verse 14. Neither should thou have stood in the crossways to cut off those that did escape. He killed that remnant. He don't want nobody there. That's what Esau did. He understood that. So he killed the remnant that the Most High always leave. That's why these brothers coming with like flames of fire. He gonna burn all of them up. They killed the remnant. That's how we know ain't no Israelites is there. And this during the time of Antioch Epiphanes. They killed the remnant. See that? Let me read it again. Neither should thou have stood in the crosshair seat to cut off those of that did escape. Neither should thou have delivered them up that did remain in the day of distress. So Esau want all of them out of there. He understood that. So he killed the remnant that Most High always leave. When they went to Philistines, when the Philistines captured them, it was a remnant in Israel. When the Ammon captured them for 3 years, it was a remnant in Israel. And Esau, that's what I was showing you about this book. I just keep on showing you. This guy showing you that it's very fact. That's why he called it Edomah. Edomah because it's Edomites all over half of Jerusalem. By the time they get ready to go into captivity in Babylon, Edomites already moved in on Israel already. They got half of the land. And then so when they go into captivity in Babylon, then they take it over. But not understanding that the Most High, he brought them back. He brought Nehemiah and he brought Ezra and he brought Zerubbabel back. But they wanted the land. So when Antioch Epiphanes came, that was their opportunity. That's what Obadiah telling you. So they killed that remnant. And let me read this, and we're going to close out. So that's why he's saying this right here in Daniel. Right here. And this is what everybody's following with. Daniel says right here. In chapter 8, Gabriel came to get Daniel the interpretation because, like I said, they went into captivity in Babylon. The Most High had his wits end with them. He didn't left a remnant all these times, but now he's telling Daniel, I'm through with him. So I'm picking it up right here in verse 16, Daniel 8:16. And it came to pass when I, Daniel, had seen the vision and saw for the meaning, and then behold, there stood before me as the appearance of a man, and I heard a man's voice between the banks of the Uliah, which called and said to Gabriel, make this man understand the vision. So he came near where I stood, and when he came, I was afraid, and I fell upon my face. But he said unto me, understand, son of man, for the time of the end. See that? The time of the end shall be the vision. So time of Israel as a nation coming to an end. That's why he's saying, Obadiah, you shouldn't have did this when the time of their affliction, the time they became a stranger. He's killed the remnant. So he says, 18. Now, as he was speaking with me, I was in a deep sleep on my face toward the ground, but he touched me and set me upright. And he said, behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of indignation, the Most High indignation. It came to a fool. Not the end of the world because we still here, but in the Israel. So he said, behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of indignation, for the time appointed the end shall be. And Antioch Epiphanes, the Antichrist, came and destroyed the temple and ran the Israelites out. Esau stole the land when that happened and started calling himself by the 12 tribes of Israel from that point on. Then in 70 AD, they were ran out and they went into Europe.
Brother Leonard, how do you spell is it anti-Epiphanes?
Antioch Epiphanes?
Yeah, how you spell that?
Yeah, let me get it right because I mean, yeah. Let me get it right quick. Yes, also all you gotta do is, like I said, go look at that. Go, Google him, and then and then they're gonna give you the history. The actual history.
I ordered the book. So is it in the book? It's in the book, right?
Which book?
The one about what did you say it was Esau, Rome?
Yeah, it's in there too. It's in there.
Okay.
So it's right here. It says, let me see. Son after that, Spain. Antiochus. Okay. Antiochus. You got that?
Antiochus. Okay.
And then his last name is Epiphanes.
Got it. Thank you.
So I want to drive that home because so it says that sprung from them a sinful shoot named Antiochus Epiphanes, the son of Antiochus, right? So that don't ring no bell to nobody. That don't ring no bell.
Antioch.
Yeah. What were they first called Christians at?
Antioch.
There you go. We read that we ain't connecting the dots. They were first called Christians at Antioch. So that's king. You got a son called Antiochus. His daddy was called Antiochus. That's a city. City named after him, Antiochus. Antioch. So the first became Christians at Antiochus. And Antioch. Come on. Ain't that something?
Wow, it's lining up.
Yeah. But they got us brainwashed. They got us stolen. You know what I'm saying? So he told you right there when they first was called Christians. Yeah. And so they took all the history out. Like I said, the Septuagint. Anybody know what the Septuagint is, right?
Yes.
Right. So they translated the Septuagint. They translated the Hebrew Bible to Greek because of these people. They in Alexandria. All those Edomites, Jews, they stole the land of Israel. It's a wicked nation called Israel. They got us thinking they real Jews, but they done stole the land. So they all over there in the land of Israel and in Egypt. They control. And Epiphanes consolidated both of those areas. He wanted to rule both Egypt and Israel. That's who the king of the south is in Daniel chapter 11. So we ended up conquering Egypt and Judea. So the Library of Alexandria in Egypt is where they wrote all these books there from the New Testament. These Edomites were copying out, looking at the Old Testament and up in this library having orgies and getting drunk and writing these books. So when Constantine came, he consolidated all the books that they had wrote, the New Testament. Plagiarism.
Wow, what a beast.
Right. Ain't that something? But you can't tell. You can't tell on your brothers that. You can tell them and just keep moving because that's what that is. They was looking at our scriptures. They wanted to be like us, so they wanted a book like the prophets, like Ezekiel and Jeremiah and all them. They copying off of what they said and writing it over here and twisting it all together, putting Greek mythology and all that, mixing it in with it. And that's how they got it. Like I said, do you go and Google Cerinthius? That's who John is. In Greek, his Greek name is Cerinthius. Then the English name is John. That's who on the Isle of Patmos. Okay? Yeah. So y'all got a mouthful for the night, huh?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Good job.
Okay, let me see if this brother talking about. There we go. Yeah, exactly. That's why they burned the library. But they don't want us to, they got us brainwashed. We ain't connecting the dots. So they cover their tracks. Yeah. They cover their, like I said, I keep on forgetting the name of this that organization, but they've been going around everywhere hiding all these bones of these giants. That's why we don't believe there's no giants. Every time somebody finds some giant bones or a giant skeleton, they come behind and get it. And they hiding all of them. They say they throwing them off in the ocean somewhere, but every time they find the bones, here they come, show up and hide it. Yeah. So, anybody else got anything before I go? Everybody good?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate them questions. It makes the class go better, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm gonna see y'all on tomorrow night at 8. Shalom.
Shalom.
Okay.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Okay.